The world of entertainment is in shock tonight as news emerges of the sudden death of 39-year-old actor Jung Eun-woo just one day after a deeply concerning post appeared on his social media. The beloved actor, whose talent and charisma earned him fans across Asia and beyond, left behind a grieving family and a stunned public struggling to comprehend the loss. On Instagram, just 24 hours before his death, Jung shared images of legendary figures Leslie Cheung, Amy Winehouse, and himself, with the haunting caption, "Missed, jealous, sorry." Those words, brief yet loaded with emotion, now take on a chilling resonance in the wake of his passing. Authorities have not disclosed the exact circumstances of his death, leaving fans and media alike to wrestle with uncertainty. Social media, once a platform for connection, has become a space for mourning and reflection. Comments beneath his final post overflow with grief, disbelief, and sorrow. One fan wrote, "I can't believe this. May the soul of the departed rest in peace. My heart hurts." Another asked, "Why did you die today? Why do you leave so soon, bro?" The immediate outpouring demonstrates the profound bond between celebrities and their audiences, highlighting how public figures can touch lives deeply, even beyond their immediate circle. Mental health specialists point out that social media posts, especially those referencing loss, regret, or longing, can often be a signal that an individual is struggling, yet the brevity and ambiguity of these messages can leave loved ones and fans uncertain about the seriousness of the situation. Jung's post, referencing both Cheung and Winehouse, artists whose lives ended tragically, underscores a pattern sometimes observed in creative communities, where personal struggles and public personas intersect in complicated ways. Fans are grappling with a mixture of sorrow and unanswered questions, as the circumstances of Jung Eun-woo's death remain undisclosed. His family, while confirming the tragic news, has asked for privacy during this incredibly difficult time, a request that underscores the delicate balance between public mourning and private grief. The actor's final social media activity has now taken on new significance, a lens through which many are trying to make sense of a loss that feels sudden, senseless, and shocking. The comparison to Leslie Cheung and Amy Winehouse is striking. Both were artists whose deaths were surrounded by personal struggles and public speculation, leaving lasting legacies, but also a cautionary tale about the pressures faced by performers. By posting images of these figures alongside himself, Jung may have been expressing a deeply personal sentiment, one that resonates profoundly now in the wake of tragedy. Analysts point out that artists, particularly in the age of constant online scrutiny, often grapple with mental health challenges away from public view, and social media can be both a refuge and a cry for understanding. The public response has been immediate and intense. Tributes flooded across platforms, with fans expressing grief, confusion, and love. Many shared stories of how his performances inspired them and how his humor and charisma brought light to difficult times. The communal mourning demonstrates the power of celebrity in shaping emotional connections, with the loss of Jung not merely a personal tragedy for his family, but a cultural moment that resonates widely. Scholars of media studies note that such sudden deaths often trigger discussions around mental health awareness, online behavior, and the responsibilities of public platforms in providing support and resources for vulnerable individuals. The actor's untimely death also invites reflection on the pressures of fame. Jung Eun-woo's career spanned numerous films and television projects, and his work earned him both critical acclaim and the love of audiences worldwide. Behind the smiles and performances, however, many artists face intense scrutiny, relentless schedules, and personal challenges that remain hidden from public view. Jung's brief, cryptic social media post hints at internal struggles that, while invisible to most fans, were deeply felt. The timing of his death, just one day after the post, adds a layer of poignancy and urgency to conversations about mental health and emotional well-being. Experts often emphasize that even small signs, whether in speech, social media, or behavior, can serve as important indicators that someone is struggling. Jung's post, simple yet evocative, has now become both a memorial and a lens through which audiences attempt to understand his inner world. The tragic coincidence of timing amplifies the emotional weight of the moment, reminding audiences of the fragility of life and the importance of outreach, empathy, and support in both personal and public contexts. The announcement of his funeral service, scheduled for February 13th, has been met with an outpouring of support from fans who wish to pay respects and honor his life. Memorial posts, fan tributes, and digital candles have become ways for a global audience to process grief collectively. The convergence of public mourning and private sorrow reflects the duality of modern celebrity. An individual's life and struggles are intensely personal, yet the emotional impact reverberates through communities far beyond their immediate surroundings. This tragic event also raises broader societal questions about the pressures placed on public figures and the ways in which audiences interact with social media. Jung Eun-woo's post, initially unremarkable in its brevity, now serves as a poignant reminder of how digital platforms can amplify both connection and isolation. Fans, while seeking closeness with their idols, often interpret posts in real time, reading between lines for meaning that may or may not be fully understood. In cases like this, the weight of public attention can complicate both personal coping and communal understanding. Media outlets, while reporting responsibly, are tasked with balancing the public's interest with respect for the family's privacy. Sensationalizing such tragedies can unintentionally add to the emotional burden on loved ones and potentially distort the public understanding of underlying issues. Analysts suggest that while immediate reactions on social media are natural, longer-term conversations should focus on awareness, mental health advocacy, and the structural pressures that affect performers. Jung's death, like those of other artists whose lives ended prematurely, may catalyze renewed dialogue on support systems for creative professionals and accessible resources for emotional well-being. The global nature of his fanbase highlights another factor: the way celebrity transcends borders in the digital age. Comments and tributes poured in from multiple countries, reflecting the international reach of his work and the shared sense of loss across cultures. Scholars of media and psychology note that collective mourning for public figures can serve both therapeutic and commemorative functions, offering audiences a structured way to process grief while celebrating the individual's contributions. Ultimately, the sudden passing of Jung Eun-woo leaves a community in shock, a family in mourning, and fans around the world asking, "Why so soon?" While answers remain elusive, his final message serves as both a haunting testament and a call for empathy. The juxtaposition of his images with those of Chung and Winehouse now carries profound symbolic weight, highlighting the fragility of life even amid success, talent, and adoration. The funeral scheduled for February 13th will allow family, friends, and admirers to gather and honor his memory. Tributes, both online and offline, continue to pour in, illustrating the depth of connection Jung forged during his career. His sudden death may also prompt renewed reflection on mental health support within the entertainment industry, encouraging both audiences and institutions to consider ways of supporting public figures beyond the screen. While the circumstances of his passing remain undisclosed, the impact of Jung Eun-woo's life and work is undeniable. Fans will remember his performances, his charisma, and the humanity he brought to his roles. In a moment of collective grief, the world is reminded of the delicate balance between public admiration and private struggle, of the silent battles many face behind the spotlight. His legacy endures not only in the films and shows he created, but in the hearts of those who followed his journey, mourned his loss, and continue to ask, with aching voices, "Why so soon?"